We're live. Hello, it is 420, 2020, and welcome to McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk. I on the left side of your screen and Pat McAfee, and on my left is AJ Hawk. AJ, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing great, Pat. You look good in your cutoff. You changed from your morning show to this show, I see.
Well, the sleeveless was a gift, AJ, and it's coming with me. This is actually from the USA volleyball team. I played volleyball in high school. Frank bought this for me. It was a clearinghouse purchase, and I love it. This may be my new favorite sleeveless hoodie, to be honest. I wish we could sell them like this.
Is that tailored, or is it just cut off? The sleeves are just cut off?
Well, it is a sleeveless hoodie, but they have their issue, you see. They have a go-to wide there. You see that?
Yeah.
See, I don't like that because I do shrugs, so I'd like a little bit of show. You know what I mean? I like a little bit of how you doing? How you doing? You know what I mean? How you doing?
Just trim it yourself a little bit. Get some scissors out.
I will. But USA's here. You can't get too close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, yes.
Happy 420, AJ. Do you know what that means?
No, what is it? What does that mean? I keep hearing all this chatter.
Well, it's when those bad kids in your neighborhood go and smoke on the marijuana in the kush and enjoy their life a little bit better. I have no idea why 420 happened. There's all of these rumors. Like a 420 is a marijuana thing in police code is the original rumor. And then it's somebody else's birthday and then somebody else died. I don't know why it happens, but I do know that today I've inhaled a massive amount of vitamins already and there's no stopping in sight, pal.
So you still feel the need to
put on,
I guess, partake in 420, even though it's not like a special day for you?
It is a special day. This is a big day for our community, AJ. It's a big day for our community. You get people that pop out of the woodwork that you never knew that all of a sudden are partaking in vitamins and living a little bit of a happier lifestyle, a little bit more snacking, a little bit more napping, a little bit more laughing. You find out who's who in these particular days, you know?
That's good. I think you're spreading positivity. That's kind of what your whole motto is. You're going to spread positivity and want to bring happiness to people.
You're damn right, AJ. You know who brought happiness to me?
No.
Jerry Krause.
Man.
That guy's an idiot.
I wish he was R.I.P., man. If this dude,
is he
it
dead?
May be better. It may be better that he's not alive.
Thank God, dude, because he might have died from this. I don't know how that guy's little heart was, but there's been a lot of bashing old Jerry Krause, and I don't think anybody. I haven't heard one pro Jerry Krause person, not a single one, honestly. And by the way,
the most pro Jerry Krause thing was from the owner Reinsdorf when he said, like, when he brought him in, which was weird. He was a baseball scout, and you hire him to be the GM and take over what became one of the most dominant franchises ever. You bring in Michael Jordan, but the most complimentary thing he said was, yeah, I mean, everyone said stay away from him. No one wanted to be around him. He alienates people. But and then Reinsdorf said, I wasn't hiring a guy to try to be my best friend or try to be a good guy. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's kind of a positive.
I wasn't hiring a guy to win a popularity contest. I just wanted him to general manage our team. And I wonder if Jerry Krause was told that by the owner whenever he hired him. Like, hey, everybody hates you, but I hope you can build a good team.
I thought it was weird, too. Didn't you think it was weird when he says, when they come back for the final year and Jerry Krause lets Phil know, okay, this is your last year coaching the Bulls?
You think you're so smart. That little triangle offense you run, 5 out of the last 7 years you win championships? You think you're so smart, Phil. Just wait, pal. You win 5 championships for this team, for this organization. You know where that gets you? 1 more year. You're gone. Okay? You win us 1 more championship. You win 6 and 8 years. You get the hell out of here. That's what Jerry Krause said to him. And what are you trying to do? You're trying to find other people that are like, you're trying to find another Phil Jackson. You're trying to find another Scottie Pippen. You're trying to find another Dennis Rodman. They said that they were going to keep Jordan and build around him. But what are you trying to do? You're trying to find the exact people you already have. Arrogance and stuff like that, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't, because why do you leave your for show team looking for a Mo team? Because what you ended up with, especially in the Bulls case, you end up with no team. And that's what Jerry Krause deserves. Rest in peace, obviously. But it's not that peaceful tonight. It won't be that peaceful for the next 8 weeks, I don't think, for old Jerry Krause, because he looks bad in this thing. He's the only reason why they started filming, because he gave the announcement that this is the last go. And they're like, we just won a championship. We're probably going to win another one. Why are we canceling this thing? It's like, We need to move on. Well, that's dumb, Jerry. You are a dumb little man. And I think the fact that they mocked him in Space Jam so bad is one of my favorite things I've ever. Have you seen the character that is a spitting image of him? I mean, and then the open shit talking from Jordan to the general manager of the team and Scottie Pippen talking about how they need to lower the rim and all this stuff to him. I mean, what a weird dynamic for such a successful operation.
I had no idea, I guess, at the time that all of this was going on behind the scenes. But to watch it back, it's remarkable to watch. Especially he and Phil Jackson don't get along that well. So I thought Phil was really cool to see when they talked about the Scottie Pippen situation. And Phil's like, no, I mean, you got to view it from the player's perspective and what he sees. Like Phil is such a mind reader. Like he has a way of like taking himself out of the equation and trying to think as he is other people. Like it was pretty impressive. I think I love Phil. I always have.
Well, Phil kind of ruined the Knicks there for a bit, but I think Phil has an incredible.
Got paid a bunch of money to come to New York for a couple years.
Hey, is that check on bounce? Nope. Here I come. Did you see in his office he had that little rake with the sand thing?
Mm-hmm.
Zen garden.
Yeah. The Zen Master.
So what does that do? I don't understand. What do you just take that little tiny rake?
It's calming.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like an old like Buddhist Zen type calming thing where you can kind of just comb the sand and the rocks and feel good about yourself.
You should see him on the golf course.
Who, Phil?
Oh, yeah.
He was good on the golf course?
No, he just loved the sandbanks, the bunkers.
That's rough.
He felt good about that. He felt real good.
That was Zito. Not to be confused with Ty Schmidt, who got a massive shout out this weekend from the biggest podcast in the sports podcast planet Earth that just dropped out of nowhere, the Hawkcast, an hour-and-a-half conversation between A.J. Hawk and Aaron Rodgers. And our favorite part was this.
Talking to you, so I want to hear what you have to say. People have heard enough of what I have to say. And second off, if I want to chronicle 24 hours in my life, which I'm not going to do, I don't have to invite Peter King to creepily watch me all day.
I think you should invite somebody. Just get that on tape. Maybe get some of Pat's boys to come over.
They're good. You're right. They are good. The guys are good over there.
Yeah, get Lou Holtz's guy to come over.
Oh no,
then,
Ty Schmidt for the record.
Yep.
It's Ty Schmidt.
Yeah, get him to come over and film you like a typical day, man. Let the people see what you're all about. They just see this, this facade of this guy that wears V-necks and slicks his hair back and never has any facial hair and smokes too much cigars, and they don't know about the real you. The guy that fills up 3 water bottles worth of piss during every every podcast. They let them see.
Yeah, AJ, why don't you let them see? Why don't you let somebody get a 24-hour tour? A couple quick things. Thanks for the shout-out to Ty Schmidt.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You know Ty Schmidt absolutely loved that. And Ty would do that, by the way. If you need somebody to follow you around, whether you're pissing or whatever, Ty would do it in elite fashion because that's what Ty does everything at. But that conversation between you two, Ty said it was the most human he's ever heard Aaron Rodgers, and he absolutely loved every single second of it. And the good thing for everybody else is a guy named Matt Schneidman just tweeted the entire thing out for free with no link on how to download it. So I got a chance to kind of vicariously listen to it through that guy's tweets without ever giving you a download. So that's good.
Yeah, I guess everybody wins in that case, right? You guys made me aware of this guy, Schneiderman, which is cool. It's cool he's supporting the podcast, but yeah, you just got to throw a link in there, bud. Don't just transcribe exactly what happened.
He did a 17 tweet thread, basically explaining everything that was happening in the podcast. And I was like, well, I don't have to listen. I guess I could just follow along with this guy. But then I gave you a download because I think you deserved a download because I listened to everything that happened. But that was awesome. And I heard he's very excited to come do the Thursday night draft super special that we have going on for the first round. He's very pumped up about that, I've heard.
Yeah, I get to make sure I reach out the day of and make sure to remind him. People can be forgetful at times when they need to call in for something. So we need to lock out a time we want him to call in for the show. I know we have Jordan Palmer coming on as well, so we just need to work out when these guys are calling in.
I haven't heard a thing from Chris Ballard or his people, by the way. Not a single thing.
I'm shocked. He's got nothing happening right now.
Well, it's 420. You can get forgetful on 420. You know what I mean? You can get forget. Have you seen the photos of some of these general manager setups?
I just saw John Lynch's setup right before this. His looks really, really good.
John Lynch just came out with 6 televisions and 1 pictures. Foxy, do we have it?
Yep. 3 landline phones right there.
Okay, so yeah, he has 6 screens. 4 of them are computer screens and film screens.
Hey, let me know, Pat. You guys would know better than me. Those screens that he shows did they Photoshop the logo on the screens
It's
in post?
It certainly does look. No,
You can see the glare.
no, yeah, because I think those are on the screen. Somebody definitely set them all up to look that way for the photo. This is definitely an Instagram flex immediately upon setup by the IT person. This was a setup by the IT person. As soon as he took the picture, he sent it to somebody. Is this okay? That's exactly what this guy.
see him in the photo.
The person that set this photo up in the screen there. You see him taking a picture. He's sending this to somebody who's his boss. Like, is this fucking good enough? And then they're like, yep, perfect. Let's put it out. 3 hard lines there. He's got an outlet for whatever he has in front of him. He has 4 computer screens, 2 of them to watch film in the front. Then he has the TV screen in the back there that's currently hooked up to film. I assume that'll be to the broadcast of the whole thing. And then the 3 hard lines there. He'll have a Zoom or 2 in there. And then did you see Gettleman's on the complete flip side of this? That is Max technology. And then the general manager for the New York Giants, he is the complete opposite of that. His setup at his house is absolutely hysterical. Big ass book, 1 laptop, give me a mug, give me some lotion if I need to beat the salami, some hand sanitizer for anybody that's thinking about coming down here, and I'm going to do this old school. I don't care if anybody can hear who I'm picking.
Yeah, was it you that tweeted something out? I don't know what media member said, like, Gettleman has everybody fooled into thinking that he's dumb and doesn't understand technology, and he just kind of he's throwing everybody off the set, and he's playing this character. Did you see that?
What does that prove?
That I don't know why you would want to do that, why you'd want to present yourself, as you guys say, as a big stooge, but I feel like, I don't know. He better draft well, man. These guys better work out.
Draft stooge, it could really turn out to be a bad decision. I'm pumped for Thursday night. I think a lot of good's going to happen. One person that is just tanking right now is Tua. And the NFL executive mentioned last week to Rappaport of the NFL Network that the mock drafts have been wronger than they've ever been in the past. I brought that up to Mark Schlereth. Mark Schlereth said, well, you have no more group thinking with these scouts because normally they're at all these pro days together and they're all talking to each other, whether it's at lunch or at the hotel or when they're getting dinner, when they're traveling. They're talking to each other about each player. And everybody's starting to kind of shape the similar thought pattern because they're together for 2 months evaluating different people. So for these insiders who are doing these mock drafts, they call one person, they're like, what are you thinking? Well, I'm thinking this, and they can probably knock down like, okay, since this person feels this way, he's friends with these scouts, this team probably feels this way too, so then he can start really knocking things off. This year, without the traveling, without the group thought, a lot of people are having to do their own independent studying. I think the cream is going to rise to the top here on who's talented in the back end of scouting and who isn't without these, hands-on meetings and without all the scouts being around each other. I'm pumped up to see what mayhem happens on Thursday night that nobody predicted.
Yeah, and also it's going to be interesting to see, like, for most of these teams, the GM he's the final call. The GM/owner are the guys making the final decision on what we're going to do, who we're going to actually pick. So I think as well, we're going to see the best GMs, who those guys are as well, because maybe they don't have all the they have all the scouts' information, but they don't have as much as as much like hearsay and rumors that they may have in the past. Like you said, with the old groupthink that used to happen. Right now, that's non-existent in the world we're living in.
Here are some rumors. The Chiefs want to move up to get Henry Ruggs, which is exactly what the Super Bowl champion Chiefs need. Another weapon, another superstar. I think whenever you look at that Chiefs team, the immediate thought is these guys don't have enough offensive weapons. Allegedly, they like Henry Ruggs. Congratulations to him if he ends up there. I guess the Niners are thinking about trading out of the first round. They have 2 picks in the first round, but they want to pick up more picks because they don't have any of those. All these rumors are starting to float. The Detroit Lions said they'll have the deal done by the 3rd. The Miami Dolphins obviously have a litany of picks to give away. It feels like a lot of people are putting the feelers out there for, hey, we want to get the hell out of here. What do you take of all that? What is your takeaway of all that? There isn't a lot of high-end talent in this draft, or is there just it's such a deep draft that these people up front are like, okay, moving back?
Well, it depends what position I guess you're talking about. If you say how deep it is, when it comes to receivers, I feel like it's the top 2, and then after that, it's kind of everybody else. There's still studs to be had, but I've seen a lot of stuff recently that the Dolphins are going to want to trade up to 3 to take Herbert, which I think is crazy. Herbert or Tua, I've seen that both. Like that they might get out of there, and the Lions could move back to 5 and take that pick from the Dolphins. But it makes sense for the Niners to give up. They have 2 first rounders, 13 and 31. to give up at least one of those because they have no picks in the second, third, or fourth round. Like that's going to be a long second day for those guys with nothing to do if they don't get some picks.
Would you rather have a high-end first-round pick or more second, third-round picks?
Probably a high-end first-rounder. Depends if I need a quarterback or not.
Me too. That's why when I heard the Niners wanted to move and they have 2 first-round draft picks, I'm like, okay, so they can move up. If you have 2 first-round draft picks, you can move back, but you can also move up. There are some teams that only have a couple second-round picks and a couple other stuff. They can't move up. But if you have 2 first-round draft picks, I think you have, especially if you accompany it with a 5th rounder or a 4th rounder that I think they have, you have 2 firsts and a 5th. You could probably move up, I would assume, into the top 10 if you wanted to. You're a 13. You'd probably move up even higher than that if you really wanted to.
Who do they want, though? Who do they want? Why would they want to give up all those picks so then the second day they don't have anything going on?
I don't know. It's alleged that they need a corner, I guess. Okudah could be a guy that you would want to go get.
You better jump up far. If you're going to give up those picks, you got to make sure you get the guy you're going after. So how high do they have to go?
I don't think anybody knows I think a lot of these teams potentially know who leaks information to who. So whenever they see like Mel Kiper's mock draft, they have a feel for what like certain teams are going to do because that's probably who Mel Kiper has gotten his information from in the past. I would assume there's some teams that can hear what other people are thinking normally. Now I feel like it is very much a isolated. I don't think anybody has a clue where they have to get to if they want to get somebody. I would assume that they have some people jotted or slotted in as second-round draft picks that'll end up being first-round draft picks. I assume there's some fourth-rounders that'll get taken early. I think this is going to be a year where people aren't 100% sure where they need to go to get people, and I think that's why we're going to see some blockbuster trades that could potentially make you go, why did that happen? And that's just because of the isolation of the entire thing.
And there's always something that happens to where, like, especially in the top 10, some team jumps out and takes a guy that was like a second-rounder going into the draft. Or very end of the first, or in Mel Kiper, and everyone's freaking out. Like, I mean, yeah, he's a good player, but I had this guy like middle of the second round. I don't know why they're taking him number 9 overall.
I still think this guy, bad football player, will be holding bags for Adam Vinatieri for training camp. That's what he said about me.
The Raiders did that last year with their first pick, like number 4 overall.
Yeah, Clelin Ferrell.
Yeah.
Hey, they've done that a lot, the Raiders, in the past. A lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were almost the best at it. If you ran fast, you were going to be a Raider in the top 10 pick. Mm-hmm. At the Combine, you were racing to be the first-round draft pick of the Raiders, which is probably going to be pretty high there for a while. That's what you were racing for.
Al Davis is removed there, so it's usually not as much as it was before, but his son is still there. Mike Mayock is there. I'm sure Mayock is a guy that is so like meticulous and detail-oriented. I'm sure I don't think he leaned on a whole lot of other people for his opinions before this, so I don't think he's going to be as affected as other GMs might be with not being able to have everybody in the war room together.
Well, of course not. I mean, he did sign Antonio Brown, so there's probably a lot of people telling him, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
They should go after Josh Gordon.
Is he allowed back?
Maybe he might be allowed back now that they don't. Now with the new CBA, when they're not testing for weed, really, or they're not, you don't get suspended for weed anymore. I think he's trying to get reinstated right now.
Hey, congratulations, by the way, to all the NFL players that are currently playing football. That 420 was normally the start of the drug testing period. 420 was the start of the drug testing period all the way through the end of the first week of training camp. And you would only get tested one time. So if you got tested on 420, you were clear for another year until the next 420. So nobody could really enjoy 420 if you're in the NFL for a long time because those rude NFL league commissioner rules. And they would get you on like 423, 424. Now, the entire NFL is probably high as a kite. Good for them. I didn't even think about that. Congratulations to those guys.
Do you like it better now, though? Because before now, the window used to open up on 420, so what, you would have to stop 3 or 4 weeks before that if you want to make sure you're clear?
Depending on how fat you are.
Okay. But now these guys know, okay, cool, it's open for 420, but they can start getting tested when training camp opens, like July 28th or 27th. Would you rather have it this way or that way? Obviously, you don't get suspended anymore, but now their 4th of July is going to be changed. Everything's going to be different.
No, this way is a lot better. This way's a lot better. Yeah, you only have that 2-week period. Okay, every human has to be clean for this. We're all in this. Now, granted, you would like to celebrate America, maybe with America's greatest herb, but you just can't do it. You just have to withstand for a little bit. You got to sweat it out. You got to get it going.
Just got to withstand for a little bit. You're right.
That's all you got to do, dude. And by the way, 4th of July, you probably could. When do you check into camp?
That's what I was asking you. How long does it stay in your system?
I don't know. When do you check into camp normally?
25th, 27th of July?
Yeah, I think you could. That's probably the last day, though. That's it. Hey,
But even
That's
if you
it.
get popped, even if you get popped now, though, you get put in the program, I guess, so you still don't want to get popped.
you don't want to be in a program. Liz, you do not want to be in the program. As a survivor and a graduate of the substance of abuse, I am a survivor. I was getting stalked for 27 months. You do not want to end up in that program. So even though you won't get suspended or anything like that, you'll still play the football. You'll still get paid for the football. You do not want to get stalked and harassed for 27 months. So have a brain, and on America's birthday, you go ahead and chug a brew or two for the red, white, and blue. And you go ahead and toke up a thing or two, too. But that next day, now you're on the road to cleanse. And now you need to get garbage bags around you. You need to run around as long as you can until you pass out and get clean.
Yep. Like I said, you're always spreading positivity and sending out a good, positive message for the youth of America.
I don't care about them. All right, let's get to we found a photo of you.
Oh, great.
With a rock star from back in the day. And I'll tell you what, AJ, this may be my favorite thing that we've encountered since starting this show. Go ahead and put that up. Okay.
Yes.
So obviously Mr. Hawk on the left and Ed Hardy, Bret Michaels on the right. In the middle of that is your bride.
Yes, it is.
And you guys are on his tour bus in his house, his ranch. Where the hell are you in this?
That's a tour bus. Are we all wearing Ed Hardy gear?
Yeah, big Ed Hardy tour. I think it was the Bret Michaels Ed Hardy tour, actually. You weren't allowed in, or at least on the bus if you didn't have Ed Hardy on. Was Bret Michaels one of your favorites there?
Excuse me. No, I don't know. He was a bunch of guys in the team were going to go to a concert.
Every
So we
rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn. Just like every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Burn, burn, burn.
Yeah, it does.
Thank you, Zito.
It's a good picture.
Who took the picture?
I don't know. Somebody, one of my buddies on the team, I think.
Was that Brady Quinn took the picture?
No, Brady's been to a Bret show before too, but he was not at that one.
Brady likes Bret Michaels?
This was years ago. We went to the concert was fun. I believe Aaron was at that concert with us, and we got on. He tried to pull us on stage. I think Aaron jumped around and danced and everything.
I think we have some breaking news.
You'll appreciate this. Tua signs with Adidas.
Yeah, we know. We know. The first thing I saw in the video, he had Nike shoes on, Adidas shorts, Adidas shirt. His first training video he put out saying he was 100%. I said, well, that's weird. That is not how professional athletes operate, especially at this level. Then the next video, he had Adidas shoes on, Adidas shorts, and Adidas shirt. I was like, okay, he's about to get an Adidas deal. And whammy, he officially signs with Adidas here a couple days before the draft. Now, it's Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tua. Adidas is stacked up in the quarterback world. I think they have Dak Prescott as well. Go ahead.
No, there's more breaking news after.
Oh, all right. Well, this might be the last video I've ever seen of Tua wearing Nike, by the way. Alabama, big-time Nike school, too. This is not normal for another shoe brand to come diving into a school and steal them. Cam Newton with Auburn is with Under Armour. There's a reason. These relationships are deep, but Adidas is making a real run at all the quarterbacks, and I can't help but respect the hell out of it.
Yeah, so what that means is they came to the table. They gave him
A lot of money.
a lot of money, good chunk of cash. And Adidas is making a push. They got Von Miller's an Adidas guy. They're going after big time stars, and it's smart to go after the quarterbacks. That's who you're going to see all the time. And Tua, good move there too by wearing the Nike cleats, Adidas shorts and shirt before you sign the deal with Adidas, just to make sure, hey, if we got a couple things we're haggling over in negotiations, I could easily jump over to Nike guys. And you're telling Nike, hey, I might be Adidas as well. Use them against each other. Get paid.
Hey, I've been wearing these Nikes for a long time. Won a national championship and a Heisman in these Nikes. I ain't scared to stay here, Adidas. You don't want to bring another 5-10 million more. You want to pay me more than Scottie Pippen made in 7 years. You fucking better if you're going to get me wearing Adidas, pal. Let's go to Diggs with more breaking news.
Adam Schefter reported that he received a text from a participant on the NFL's mock draft that started at 1 p.m. today. Mock draft. This is the quote. Mock draft today. Already technical glitch with Cincinnati's first pick. Brutal.
That's what we're here for. I cannot wait for that.
What's
watch.
the glitch? I want to know what the glitch was. What happened?
Well, I assume they want to take Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow said no. That's why I think in the draft run through, just like we've been talking about for a long time, Robot Joe Burrow said, I ain't going. And they said, well, how do we deal with it? No, I would assume something froze. I would assume a message to somebody got shortened. I would assume some tech drop, because all you need is a spike in the internet and all of a sudden it's over. And that can get anybody at any time. The Thursday night draft is going to be awesome.
Our show alone, I think, is going to probably cause some glitches with all of these coaches and teams and GMs trying to speak, because there's going to be so much traffic driven to our channel.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, we need to get on here. It's gonna slow down the Zoom FaceTimes, all of the calls that are being made. It won't affect the landlines that these guys have.
No.
But everything else, I think it's going to affect.
Yeah, because our show's going to be good, isn't it?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah! AJ Hawk! AJ Hawk!
Come on.
AJ Hawk! AJ Hawk! Yeah.
You still refuse to try to get an armbar on that mic.
You saw that kid this weekend. There was a kid this weekend that sent a video in. He choked out his chair. He had a gamer chair. He choked out his gamer chair, and then out of nowhere, the guy kicks his legs up for an armbar, and you see his chair tackle him on the ground. His camera gets knocked off, and then he picks up the camera smiling and laughing at it. And I had to forward it to AJ. I said, I think this guy just tried an armbar in the damn chair. Maybe Thursday night, whenever my mock draft hits, I'll armbar the hell out of this thing right here.
You gonna wear a suit and tie?
I think we should, huh? It's a super special.
Might as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm up for it.
By the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we all have to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not talking just me
yeah.
and you.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody.
Awesome.
Aaron Rodgers, by the way, he calls in. He needs to be in a suit. Have a little respect for the fucking show, Aaron. Okay? You too, Jordan Palmer. All right? Have a little respect for the show.
You too, Chris Ballard.
I'm not 100% sure he's coming on the show. I have not gotten a single word back. I shot my shot.
He's scared. I would be scared to text you back as well, because you let it be known, hey, any response you have to me will get regurgitated on air from my mouth.
Am I not supposed to at least I feel like I'm a good guy for saying that.
Journalistic integrity.
Hey, listen, just a heads up. I am currently live. Anything you say to me will get repeated. No answer. Okay. I texted another general manager that I know about potential rumors. He responded to me. We said it's all malarkey. Now everybody else is pushing the same narrative, and I feel like I'm an insider at this point. You know what I mean?
If Ballard told you, hey, man, this is off the record, you can't tell anybody
Don't tell
anything.
me. Don't tell me. That's what I would say.
Just curious.
I've done that before, by the way, to people.
What do you mean?
They go, hey, just between us. I go, don't tell me. It's not. No, they're like, just keep it between us. I'm like, it's not, though. I'm just telling you it's not. Because if it comes up, I'm going to let it out. And inevitably, they always tell me anyways. I just want to, like, I think they try to cover their own ass whenever they're telling me. I let them know, like, no, you tell me this is going to get out. Then they inevitably always go, all right, well, you're going to find out that blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, can I go live with that? They're like, no, you can't. I'm like, well, if it comes up, it comes out. That's just on me. That's just how it goes. You know what I mean? It's just how it goes.
Well, there's no such thing as off the record. Didn't they? I hope when you got to the Colts, did anyone, like your PR people, did they let you know, like, hey, some of these guys and these gals in the locker room, they may try to tell you and buddy up with you. And yeah, you can easily become close with some of them, but don't ever think it's truly off the record. Even if they say it's off the record, you shouldn't feel that comfortable speaking like that.
My favorite is one reporter, I won't say his name, was trying to do an anonymous quiz or anonymous like survey about our team and how it was being run and stuff. And he was like, hey, man, I was wondering if you wanted to fill out an anonymous survey. I got a couple of your teammates to do it. I want to know if you do it. I was like, no, I don't do anonymous stuff or whatever, you know. He was like, well, that's just to protect you and your potential future. I was like, well, I definitely don't want to be a part of it then. And I don't do anonymous stuff. He's like, okay. So then a couple weeks later, I read the whole report thing. I'm pretty pumped I was not a part of that. I mean, they just buried the Colts there for a little bit. And I'm like, they're going to find out at some point who the hell said there and who talked there. I feel like there's always a game of trying to get information. And as soon as you get information and you say information, anybody that hears you say that information, they're going to figure out where you got that information from. I mean, if you listen to Peter King talk, he's like, when Mike Tannenbaum says blah, 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 I'm automatically listening if it's about the Dolphins because he's friends with Stephen Ross and da-da-da. There's people that do that, like piece together puzzles, basically. So if somebody was to hear me say something about Adam Vinatieri, for instance, they'd be like, okay, McAfee heard from Adam Vinatieri then. That's why I try not to address the subject to talk about it, because it'll always get figured out. I feel like everything gets figured out these days. I feel like that's the case.
I mean, I think that's a good just rule to live by. Like, why you don't need to be an anonymous source, or you know, especially if it's a negative thing. Why do you like
actually put my name on it?
You're on the record. That's a good thing. I think that's a good quality.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think you have a couple good qualities as well.
Thank you.
You guys hear the message he got on his Facebook the other day?
No, what was it?
Facebook.
You have
was
Facebook?
it Facebook?
Didn't that guy send you a Facebook message about me? It was a ruthless message.
Oh, I don't know if it was Facebook. I don't really check Facebook. But
What did you send me then? Was it an Instagram comment?
maybe, I don't know. Or somebody sent it to me.
I mean, this guy, AJ screenshot it and sent it to me.
I think he was joking.
Make sure you're okay.
No, he was not joking. No, it wasn't one of those messages like worried about me. It was the complete opposite.
Excuse me.
This guy wanted me to die.
Really?
Yeah, I woke up from a nap and it's a text from AJ saying this guy actually brings up some good points. I read it. It was
Is that what I said?
Yeah. I woke up from a nap and I like look at it. It was like you saying this guy brings up some good points, and it was a guy. He nailed me to a T too. The things he said. Let me get it. He said
Something about like ego is out of control.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, here we go. His name's William Weingardner. Okay, not my William Weingardner. AJ, you're cool as a cucumber when doing the McAfee show. Dealing with his overinflated, self-obsessed, belligerent, repetitive, ignorant, disordered personality takes inner strength that's way above average. I just signed up to your Facebook page and noticed your radio interview, so I'm going to listen to them instead. Keep up the kind deeds, my young friend. Peace, Weingardner.
Wow.
AJ says, this guy brings up some good points. I started dying laughing. Dying laughing.
Well, it was so absurd that it's the only reason I sent it to you, because like how he strung that together. I now that you read it back to me, I don't even know if I read the whole thing before I sent it to you.
I loved it. I very much enjoyed it. That's what the internet is, though. It's the most beautiful place on earth. And every once in a while on this show, we like to go into the comments section and find some YouTube question.
Where is it? I'm not saying it.
YouTube questions.
We need a little bit more emphasis on the energy there.
Can we redo it?
Every once in a while, we like to dive into the YouTube comment section for some YouTube question.
YouTube question.
Nailed it, Z. What do we got?
All right. There was a couple random ones, but this one right here. Ask Pat what the league would be like if kicking field goals wasn't a turnover, so you could kick multiple field goals back to back and potentially get a first down and keep it moving.
Yeah, it'd be stupid. Stupid game.
What do you mean get a first down by kicking field goals?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. It feels like that person's never watched our sport before.
Another one. What will happen with the 13th pick?
The 13th pick will be the we just talked about them. The Niners. They're going to trade out of there. So AJ and I are going to do our final mock drafts for tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow our final mock drafts will be completed for the Thursday night draft prime time super special McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk. We will present our final mock drafts tomorrow on this show.
Mine is subject to change from Tuesday to Thursday.
That's not how it works. That's just not how it works.
That's how it works. Yeah.
So when do you want to have the final draft in? Right before the draft starts?
No, we can. I'll have one for tomorrow.
But is that your final one?
We're making graphics here, AJ.
Yeah, we got to make an entire graphic.
All right, if you want it to be my final one, yes. I'm not tied to I'm not like, I don't live and die off of this mock draft that I'm going to come up with. Because you told me now I have to put in trades and everything. I got to do all of this stuff that all these draft pundits spend years doing, or the full year putting together. So I will go and siphon from a lot of different trusted sources and put one together.
Yeah, you're going to plagiarize. I'm not. I'm going to do all the research myself tonight. And what we'll do is,
So who are the best? Say the top 2 to 3 O linemen that you think will go in the draft.
well, Wills and
Yep.
and Becton are probably the two that I'm really thinking.
Wirfs, you mentioned?
Becton's 375 pounds. I mean, he runs good. He's 6'7" from Louisville. That guy's probably going to move some people. And this guy, Wills, I mean, he sounds like he is a guaranteed home run. Big body, first one in, last one out type guy. Works very hard, moves other humans.
Wills?
Yeah, that's his last name, Wills.
From where? From where?
He's Alabama.
He
remember
played
that?
Alabama. I mean, everybody knows that
I thought you were
Wills.
talking Tristan Wirfs from Iowa.
No, he's number 3 on my big board. I think he will go somewhere as well on the first night, but it's definitely Becton's choice. Or
You were talking about that Andrew Thomas guy from Georgia.
and by the way, when I met Andrew Thomas, he's obviously as big as an ox, that guy, but he's a gentleman and a hard worker. And those are the types of things when you talk about Andrew Thomas and Wills and Becton and these offensive linemen that are first round like talent, and you go back to Quentin Nelson and these other gentlemen, you can really be an impact in that offensive line. You just got to have that irresistible trait of being able to move other motherfuckers, you know?
Yeah, boy, drafting an offensive lineman in the first round too, like it never gets any attention. No one really cares because they don't know if an offensive lineman is good or not. But it does make sense. Like if you can draft a left or right tackle that's there for 10 or 12 years, or a Quentin Nelson type guy like the Colts, which is tough to get as a guard, a guy that really can change your whole offensive line. It's super rare, but it's super. I guess it goes under the radar, and fans are like, okay, cool, but then it can really help your team if you find the right guy.
Ballard got buried. Ballard got buried for taking Quentin Nelson by some of the people. Now, it's not a sexy pick. It's not like your fans are like, oh, can't wait to see him or whatever. But the fact he was at Notre Dame, I think, helped because there's a lot of Notre Dame fans around here, so they knew of him. But the writers and stuff did not give Chris Ballard many favors after he drafted an offensive guard in the first round. And he has set the tone for that team. That team's very different since he got there. I think it was a great pick.
Especially when it's that high of a pick. When it's like a top 5 pick, it's not a sexy pick, like a wide receiver, stud
What was he,
corner.
6?
Or like a middle linebacker from Ohio.
They called him Earl Grey.
They dogged
Earl
him for
Grey?
Darius Leonard, too.
Yeah, because he just teabagged people. You know what I mean?
I like it.
Yeah, you bury them and then just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, slide over top of him. Yeah, it's classic. It's a great move for him. But yeah, I mean, I give
Never happened
Ballard
to you?
credit.
Never happened to you?
I don't know if it happened to me. I tried to make it happen.
I got blocked one time, pancake. No good.
I mean, I've been pancaked plenty of times. I don't know if I've really been like violently teabagged on the field. Maybe.
Well, you're going to get got, you know? You just got to get yours more than you get got, though.
Yep, exactly. You have to, if you're a GM and you're going to draft an offensive lineman like in the top 12, you gotta make sure that you're comfortable with yourself. You're comfortable dealing with some heat because, like you said, Ballard may have got killed on draft night when he takes Nelson, but now he looks like a genius.
He does look like a genius. Really changed our team. I think for you and I, what we'll do for our Thursday night primetime draft super special, we'll each have our final mock drafts, and then we'll get points. If we get the player right, to the team right, at the position right, that's like 10 points. Okay? If we get everything right, it's like 10 points. If you predict a trade, but you don't have the team that they traded with or the pick right, I think you should still get some points. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So we'll have to go through an entire scoring system, and obviously the loser will have to donate to somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in.
But you're going to plagiarize everything. I'm going to do my own work.
I mean, I'm not going to plagiarize.
Sure sounds like it.
Nah.
Nah.
I'm curious. I got to figure out where I'm going to put Tua. I just don't believe that Herbert's going to get drafted above Tua.
I think everybody's trying to bury Tua right now for a reason. I don't know why. I think everybody's trying to bury Tua for a reason. Now, which team is trying to bury Tua right now to get him out of there so they could potentially get him? That is the question when I 420 on 420-2020 tonight, and I dive deep into the analytics of everything.
Can't wait to see your maybe you should film yourself putting your mock draft together. That would be exciting, just to prove that you're not plagiarizing.
Well, I mean, I already did one. I already did one, basically, that people have heralded as the best mock draft of the year.
Well, you can't really herald it the best mock draft until the draft happens.
No. As mock drafts are concerned, they said it's the best mock draft to be mock drafted.
All right, I got to take you at your word.
They said my mock draft made more sense than everybody else's mock draft.
Who's they? Oprah?
No. Oprah didn't say anything. What do you know about Oprah?
Why didn't she say anything?
Well, she didn't say anything about my mock draft. She say something about your mock draft. You know Oprah?
No.
You get a
No,
car.
but a lot of times when people say they, Oprah is who they're talking about.
No, I'm just talking about people in the comment section on the videos.
Oh, okay. I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be, I'm going to have to put this together. The trade things are what really throw me off when these mock drafts have trades.
Speaking of trades, there's about to be a trade about a guy that we talked about just 1 week ago. This weekend, the internet was abuzz on NFL Twitter when a big name from LSU, animal running back, is all of a sudden on the trading block. And you might wonder why. Let's take you back to about a week ago. Leonard Fournette said that the team should sign Cam Newton. I don't know if that was his exact words, but I guess it was inferred. He said he likes Gardner Minshew, loves Gardner Minshew. Cam went to the Super Bowl. He's a great guy. And like I told some people, it's no disrespect to Gardner Minshew. I'm just trying to get the best position as we possibly can to win. That's my first time seeing the quote. He definitely said.
Yeah, he did.
He definitely said, give me Cam Newton. The guy's on the streets. What are we doing? And just a couple days later, he was on the trading block. So that sounds as if the Jacksonville Jaguars are all in with Gardner Minshew. And if you're not, get the fuck off the boat, pal.
Yeah, it's pretty funny how quickly that happened. Like, would this have been put in motion this fast if Fournette wouldn't have come out publicly and basically said, bring Cam in? And I know you think Gardner's the answer. Yeah, I love Gardner and everything, but we got Cam Newton here. He's available. Bring him in.
That is so hilarious to think of. Because Marone and whoever else is running the Jaguars now, that Tom Coughlin was let go because 25% of the NFLPA's complaints were about his operation down there. Thinking about the Jacksonville brass, the Jaguars brass on their Zoom call last week. Did we see Leonard Fournette's tweet about Cam Newton? One of them had to say, yep, let's get him fuck out of here. And they were like, yep, deal. People are getting muted in the background. Like, get him out of here. Get him on the trading block. Then Doug Marone goes into the other Zoom where the scouts and the GMs are. The coaches want them all out of here. And they're like, us too. We were just yelling about him too. Get them the hell out of here. Even if it's got to be one of those Billy O Stooge type trades. Get them the hell out of here. Now people are thinking maybe Leonard Fournette to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Leonard Fournette, people forget, at LSU was a grown man playing against children. He was a grown man at LSU running people over. He goes to Jacksonville Jaguars, doesn't hit as hot as everybody thought he would be, gets into a fight. He ends up actually going out into Montana, deleting his friends from his life, refocusing on football. Last year he has for over 1,100 yards rush. Seems like he's all the way back, kind of like that Nick Foles moment where he went out into the woods with his brother-in-law. They say they didn't 420. They just had a conversation with God or whatever and decided not to retire, comes back, becomes Super Bowl MVP. Leonard Fournette had the same type of situation happen. He went out into the woods, kind of refocused his life, got some people out of there, and last year had his best year to date. I think he's going to be a hot running back on the market. I don't know what his contract is. It can't be too big. And if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers grab him, I mean, what a wild move. I have no clue or no certainty that he would end up with the Bucs, but I feel like he's going to get moved. That's just the way the NFL is, especially if you're going against the vision that the team is trying to pitch.
Well, don't you think it's safe to say right now the Jacksonville Jaguars are not going to give him a long-term extension when his rookie deal is up? So time is up there. How quickly would he could easily be a part of a draft night trade, hopefully night one while we're on the air doing this. Maybe do we have to add that into our mocks?
I don't know.
I just say they traded up, they gave him their second, third rounder and Leonard Fournette to get into the top 10. We got to get a bunch of points if we get that right.
Okay, here we go. There was some give and take between Ngakoue and Tony Khan, son of Mr. Khan.
Shad Khan.
Tony Khan, also president and founder of AEW, a wrestling organization. Yannick Ngakoue goes, at Tony Khan, stop hiding, Mo. Tony Khan says, I'm not in hiding, sir. I'm in isolation getting ready for the draft. I've been pretty active on social media in isolation, but you wouldn't know that since you unfollowed me. Ooh. Oh. Then Ngakwe says, since you're feeling might today, let's both let the world in on the truth. We've been had a discussion that the Chargers game was my last game, yet you try to backdoor the situation without answering any of my camp's calls. Shake my head. You spoiled, bruh. Holding up people for no reason, bruh. So Ngakwe wants out. Leonard Fournette's on his way out. Gardner Minshew's leading the charge down there. Joe Schobert's in. Jay Gruden's in. People think Andy Dalton's potentially coming in. The Jacksonville Jaguars are just completely fracking at the seams down there. And this is quite an interesting little turnabout for the AFC South.
I love that. I mean, that's what the media does a lot now because players have so much power with social media.
Narrative.
We get to report on their Twitter, what happens on Twitter and Instagram, and he's going back and forth with the owner's son on Twitter. So, I mean, it's a great time. I think it's a fun time to be a fan of professional sports, especially when guys don't care at all about what they put out there. Like, they're not scared to put stuff out for us to consume. It's awesome.
Hey, you spoiled, bruh. Think about typing up that tweet. If you're
to the owner of the team. To the
All right, if we're going to do this for real, let's do it. You spoiled, bro, with a clown emoji, the whole thing. I'm a massive fan of that. Leonard Fournette's right behind him, I assume. I assume Leonard Fournette's going to go to work on social media sometime soon to get himself out of Duval. But it seems like that's a place that is in complete turnaround, rebuilding Jerry Krause land.
Well, Leonard Fournette, I would assume right now, and I'm sure he enjoys Jacksonville and what they've done for him. But if he's sitting there like, hey, man, I may be able to join Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucks next year, he's doing whatever he can to get out of there, to try to get traded to Tampa Bay.
I can't wait to see the tweets he sends to Tony Khan.
Please.
AEW stupid at Tony Khan. Get me out of here. I hate this. Have you seen?
Is that Jericho, AEW?
Yeah, it's actually pretty entertaining, to be honest. Cody Rhodes is there as well. But have you seen Shad Khan's yacht?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I watched a little YouTube thing of him when he's doing yoga on his yacht, having parties.
Yeah, doing the whole thing, the whole spiritual thing. Please take your shoes off before coming into my yoga room. His yacht's like 100 yards long or something like that. It is insane. From selling bumpers. Fucking genius.
It's amazing.
These cars
maybe we could. You think after all this, Pat, when some of these guys may be over leveraged, maybe me and you can go in on one of these monster yachts and take one down?
I would like to see, some of these big venture capitalists who greedy corporate fat cats who could potentially end up going down from this whole thing. Maybe we get a yacht on layaway or clearance or something like that. Ooh. I would be completely down with a yacht on layaway, but we have to have a helipad because I'm not. How am I getting there if we don't have a helipad?
Great point. I thought maybe we could find one. I don't know how big the canal or river is in Indy. You can't put anything there, can you?
What do you mean?
Well, you can put some things in there, allegedly. My shirt's still missing, by the way.
Are you a guy that
What's that?
would tend to get excited and take your shirt off in public venues?
I mean, it depends. It depends on which year you caught me. There was a time there.
When you were feeling pretty good about your physique, I would imagine it would have to be one of those times.
Yeah. I mean, there was times. I mean, also,
like you mentioned in that Fox clip, hopefully it's the skinny me and not the bigger me. That would happen in the offseason.
It just depends on the mode, too. If I feel like the club is potentially slowing down, I know a quick way to speed it back up, by the way. It's a shirtless white man on a table.
You're a hype man.
Just like that. Everything comes back. Yeah, but those days are long gone now. Long gone.
Not after you get super jacked again. I bet they'll come right back.
Nah, I don't do those. I don't do the clubbing anymore.
Not at all?
Nah. It's not my thing. I'd rather go to I've always been a bar guy.
Isn't everybody that way?
No. I think there's some people that absolutely crave the
and you can't hear each other and just yelling. You lose your voice. And you can't hear, like, you need them to turn it down.
Huh? There's people that love that.
Turn it out.
There's
You're
people
right.
that.
I guess you can't knock them. People that are good dancers, maybe they like that.
Well, I'm a good dancer too. Let's not get crazy. But I would rather be at a bar with a limited amount of people so we can all experience this night together. You know what I mean? At a club, you got too much going on. But at a bar, you could set the tone for each other. You really, one man's success is an entire bar's success. Somebody gets loose on that dartboard, the whole place can go crazy. You can really get some flip cup even going in public. I mean, that's where I really, really thrive. But quick way to turn a club upside down is take your shirt off and start dancing on the table.
Well, yeah, most clubs have, and bars now have dress codes. So I'd imagine you get your shirt off. Yeah, they may like that you're bringing a bunch of juice to the place, maybe helping fuel alcohol sales, mainly because you're the guy buying shots for the whole bar.
Bingo.
So maybe they would turn a blind eye to you with your shirt off.
They have, and they did. But in Arkansas, can't get in with this, bub. Cannot get into a bar in Arkansas with this on right here. The week before, I was in Manhattan, got in wearing a bandana on my head and a sleeveless. Arkansas wouldn't let me in because the Hells Angels come through there with their sleeves off and they kill people.
Oh, they were worried you were a Hell's Angel?
Yep, exactly. Thank you. That's what I thought.
You do have a Harley.
I do have a couple of them, by the way.
Oh, you got a couple Harleys.
Yeah. It's my favorite hobby.
Motorcycle riding?
Yeah. Really is.
Good for you. I saw you in Indy on your motorcycle.
You put the phone away, you literally can't talk to anybody. You literally can't. Music is glaring. My lady's on the back of my steel pony. You know what I mean? We're just out there cruising.
I don't know why that was funny.
All right, here we go.
Has Schefter tweeted anything else?
No, Ngakoue and Tony Khan are going back and forth. Ngakoue tweeted, tired of this back and forth at Jaguars. Let's get this shit done. And then Tony Khan tweets, Ngakoue then follows up with, just trade me. I don't need this speech. Tony Khan responds with, show me the compensation. I'm sure you're really driving up that price today, by the way. So Tony Khan's like, we've been trying to trade you, pal. Nobody wants you, especially after your tweets from today. So if you would just shut the fuck up, maybe we could get you out of Jacksonville because I'm tired of it. That's what Tony Khan said.
Do you think Tony Khan's dad, Shad Khan, do you think he likes this? Do you think he likes him engaging with one of his stars on Twitter?
Shad Khan, I don't think he loves it. I don't think Shad Khan, I don't think he enjoys it. I don't think that's really a thing that he loves. And by the way, old son Khan there, Tony Khan, dropping a BTW. Love that. Anytime you're in a potential verbal joust or a Twitter dispute with somebody, a BT dub or a TBH are really just just a little slap in the mouth. Just a BT dub.
See, I thought at the end there, instead
TBH.
of BTW, you should have put bruh.
Oh, yeah, bruh. He should have
Just
answered
going back
his
on-
former bruh.
Going back on what he called, almost like mocking him.
Yeah, he did say BRA, though. Was that supposed to be spoiled brat without the T? Because it then became you spoiled bra. Because now we got two different fights.
I didn't see that. Okay, I didn't see the tweet on my screen, so I don't know.
Well,
I thought he called him bruh, BRUH.
no, he said BRA ... So I'm wondering if maybe the T didn't get, because maybe he said spoiled brat. And Tony Khan, I would assume throughout his life, has been called a spoiled brat before, just strictly because your dad created bumpers and your dad owns like 7 teams. I would assume that he's been called that before. That might have really got him where he didn't want to be. That's why he came back with that. You're really driving up the price today, BT dub. Smacking him off.
I'm reading the tweet now. Okay, you spoiled bruh. I think he's calling him bruh, like bro.
Yeah,
He's calling a boob.
But he did leave the Y off of mighty, we assume, since you're feeling might today. So it could have been a typo.
since you're feeling mighty. And by the way, that's wrong.
Isn't this amazing how we're like breaking down tweets when we're thinking there's like all this hidden language inside and all this, when it's usually probably the guy's taking a dump and he forgot to type the next letter?
It's potentially what it is, but it's also, we haven't had sports for 39 days or something like that. This is anytime a billionaire's son, a team owner, is in a Twitter beef with a player who wants the hell out of there, that is the news that we need to talk about.
Is this going to be used whenever everything gets back to people playing organized sports? Will this be used when they bring those PR people in and they say like, oh, these are some examples of what not to do in the media, and they always show you guys freaking out on reporters? Are they going to pop these tweets up?
I don't know. Those people are always so wrong too. So wrong. Frank Luntz, I respect him. He's probably made a lot of money. I learned about him whenever I was in college. A man who runs the focus group game, basically. He came in and spoke to our team. He was basically telling us what we were allowed to tweet about, what we weren't allowed to tweet about if we were trying to run for fucking president. Okay. So I had to break it down. By this point, I had already established a social media career. I had already sold merch, stand-up comedy tickets, an entire thing off of my social media. Probably made more money off my social media than Frank Luntz has made off of his social media. So this guy's coming in talking to our team about how we should run our social media. And I had some questions early. I asked just a couple of things. Everybody in the room knew what I was doing. I mean, Vinatieri was getting very excited. Vinatieri was like, here we go. Like, this guy has no idea what's about to come at him. And then Chuck gave me the old, hey, take it easy. Like, all right.
Wait, what were you asking, Frank?
I was just asking Frank, like, who should send out things that don't feel anything towards anybody? Like, basically, he was like, if you send out a tweet and it might generate an emotion from somebody, that is a tweet that you should obviously reconsider, ask your friends about, and then think about sending or something like that. I'm like, well, isn't that... I had like 50 questions for his first 3 sentences, by the way. It was one of those. Like, everything he was saying, I was against. Like, every single... And I had an entire business running, and I was like an OG on the team at the time, and everybody knew that I had a business running, basically. So everybody in there, if I don't say anything, what am I? I'm a little bitch, and that is just not something that I will ever be considered. So I had to at least show face and ask a couple questions. And Vinatieri, I've never seen him so excited. He was like, here we go. Like, Vinny was jacked up about it, and Chuck was like, come on, now's not the time. I mean, I ended up meeting the guy. He was very nice. Frank Luntz is very, very nice, but everything he was saying to NFL athletes was acting as if we were running for president. It's like, nobody in here is going to run for president.
Hasn't all that changed now?
I mean, he just put out a video. Did you see the video Trump put out today?
No, I haven't.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Can we play it, please?
He's just right now, he is in the most savage form of I've ever seen a human in my life.
I've been in the lab grinding over my mock draft that I got to turn in tomorrow, so I haven't seen anything.
I got to turn in tomorrow. Did you hear that? Hey, brah. Okay, I don't need to hear that.
You're spoiled, bro.
When do you want to have that done? Do you want to have it done by Thursday then? Tomorrow's too soon?
No, I'll have it done tomorrow.
You're just stealing other people's work. You could probably have it done tonight if you really needed to.
No, I can't because it's not nearly as easy to copy and paste mock drafts as you would think. There's too many graphics and ads on each damn piece website I open up.
Who are you stealing from, just so I know?
Everybody.
You're just going to put a consensus together of everybody's thoughts?
Yeah, just so you can't point to one guy's mock draft and be like, oh, we found it. This is it.
Jesus.
No, I have my own thoughts. I've done some shows on Sirius of pre-draft stuff, but it's been more positional. I just got to do a broad overview now of the whole first round.
This guy. Do you not take anything serious? I mean,
don't ever ask me that.
We have an NFL draft prime time super special where people are depending upon us for information. And there's going to be 13 to 14 guys drafted that we've never heard of. We have never heard of. And
don't say we. I have heard of them.
Well, that's because you saw other people write about them.
Okay. Continue your long speech.
I'm done. The speech is over.
Yeah. I do take it serious. Why do you think I'm going to? I'm not trying to get an extension on the time. You told me at 12:15 on a FaceTime call today, hey, let's do mock drafts. Okay, cool. When should they be ready? Yeah, tomorrow before the show. Okay. I got less than 24 hours. I got it.
All right. I'm happy for you. That's AJ Hawk, by the way. That's what a little Mike Hawk, whenever he hears about what his dad did, he's going to be proud of him.
Okay.
By the way, Mike Hawk's getting a lot of love in the comment section right now. People are wondering, where's he at? Where's Mike Hawk at?
Yeah, it'd be a bold statement to name, if I had a son, name him Mike.
AJ, who was the best offensive lineman you ever played?
Oh, man. What a good question. I dealt with a lot of centers and guards, tackles, not as much. I mean, you know who in Detroit, Foxy, Raiola, for a long time was there. Raiola was a nasty, scrappy dude, and I respected him, man. I loved going head-to-head with him.
Because you did that Cobra, right?
He did that. He was trying to Cobra you before you Cobraed him.
So you guys had to –
because he wasn't big. He wasn't huge, but he was fast. Little centers were always so difficult to deal with. Like Scott Wells played center in Green Bay when we won the Super Bowl. Scotty was a high school state champ wrestler, so he's super strong, but he's only 5'11", probably. I'm sure he'd be upset if he heard that, but he probably thinks he's 6 foot. But this dude was cock strong and super fast. He'd be on the second level before you know it, and he knows how to use his leverage.
Who, like Jason Kelsey, right? He was kind of an undersized center that could move, though, right?
All those centers that are classified undersized that can move, those are the toughest ones to deal with. Yeah, they may not be the best at if you put a nose head up on them or something, but getting to the second level, man, like those guys are nasty. They all are.
Centers are normally the ones getting to the second level, or is that guard?
They want to. They may, block down to start a little double, and then they got to get up to the second level and try to set a screen or get to the next level, whether it be a linebacker or a safety in the box. Yeah, and those dudes are just so fast getting up there. To like, man, the ball snapped, and this dude's already in my face. Like, what am I going to do?
What is it? Hands. Everything's hands with defenders, right?
Yeah, and them too, though. Don't let them get their hands on you, especially if they're the long arm guys, like the big, like Mangold. Like we've had Nick. Nick is not an undersized center. He's a big, tall dude with really long arms and great leverage. If Nick's hands are on you, like you're like a little kid trying to punch at him. I can't reach him.
Oh, so the entire game is everybody's trying to get the chest, right? That's what everybody's trying to get
inside.
To.
You want your hands inside. Yeah, he definitely wants his hands inside of you.
So if he has long arms, isn't this the easiest way to get you? Is that how they?
Yeah, and so that's why you got to make sure if you're a smaller guy like me, I'm the aggressor. I see him coming at me. I may even fake a little bit like I don't see him, and then all of a sudden, bam, head to Cobra strike his head, chop his arms, and you could keep it moving.
Gotcha, bitch.
You should be a coach.
Gotcha, bitch. You should be a coach.
Shouldn't be a coach. It's not as easy as it's a lot easier said than done.
Well, that's what coaching is.
Yeah, that's coaching.
You just coach me. I feel like if Nick Mangold was running at me, I know exactly what I do. I give him a little look away, like, oh, I don't see you, I don't see you. Cobra to the face, swip the arms, touchdown. 74 barbecue was good, but not you.
Well, hopefully not a touchdown if I'm on defense, but yeah.
Yeah, I scooped the score.
The other way.
Yeah, I scooped the score.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, scoop score.
Good coaching there, though.
Score, though. Great coaching.
Great coaching.
Situations. AQ Shipley. Did you ever play against him?
Yeah. Another cock-strong dude.
I think that's a great way. That's a great way to describe him.
Like a dude that could just you figure like, oh, this dude grew up baling hay for 14 hours a day until he was 18 and went to college. And a lot of them like never even grew up anywhere near a farm.
AQ's got that barbed wire tattoo though on his arm though. You probably did think he was potentially out there baling hay. Oh,
I dodged a bullet. I thought about that barbed wire my whole high school career. Every day. I got to do it. Never got it.
It felt like your generation, everybody had them.
That was my and I remember seeing when I was like a freshman, I'd see some seniors. One dude had like the rope tattooed and it tied underneath like the rope. I'm like, oh man, I might have to get the rope. I don't know. Is the rope better than the barbed wire? I can't figure this out.
The barbed wire gang is a strong one. I mean, your generation, they all had them.
You can't. And the best is when guys wouldn't complete it, it would stop. Because it hurts underneath your arm, and they'd say, "Oh well, no, the design doesn't go all the way around. The design doesn't connect." So that's just how it was.
Why wouldn't they connect?
It's bad luck if you close it because then your spirit or soul can't get out.
Traps your soul.
Oh, that's real.
Everyone knows
that.
Cool. I mean, just get your story straight, AJ.
Oh, that's
after you got it. Make sure you charge your crystals at night. Then.
Well, you don't believe in good luck?
I believe in good luck. You create your own good luck, yeah.
What about dream catchers?
Yeah, they look cool in a car, I guess.
So you're telling me that tight end on the Browns and Hard Knocks was full of shit with his crystals?
Yeah, what about his rocks?
Cajuice,
yeah.
Him and his dad, by the way, they were all in. They were all in on those rocks. They're pounding a whistle.
I may have my views on crystals do not carry over to him. If Cajuice wants to use them, and he and his dad have such a tight relationship, and I enjoy watching him, he's okay using it. I don't mind him doing it.
I heard that son of a bitch.
Some nosebleeds again.
Whatever happened to him? Did he make the practice squad?
See you later. XFL. Was he in the XFL?
I don't know. His dad had like 15 heart attacks, though. I think the crystals are keeping him alive.
It's true.
Ty always brings the good news.
Yeah, he's not. He's not anywhere.
Pat, hey, were you surprised?
Saw him play football. Yeah.
I know we didn't really touch
good
on
guy,
it.
good guy.
You probably did in your other show. Did we? Were you surprised the XFL shut down?
I talked about this on the other show.
Why was it a story? I figured like, well, yeah, of course it had to.
It's because they filed for bankruptcy. So I would assume that everybody thought they were going to shut down or whatever, maybe ask people to take pay cut, but filing for bankruptcy is basically saying like, yeah, we're done with this thing. And then whenever you see the creditors and how they owed over $1 million to different people, and you saw how much money those coaches were being paid as opposed to how much the players were making, which is interesting, even though I do think the coaches were a very important thing. I think going into bankruptcy is why everybody started burying it and why it became story, because they didn't know if they were going to continue next year. But as soon as it files for bankruptcy, then the narrative gets spun like, oh, this wasn't a successful company. And I think the issue that I have with how the narrative will be spun about the XFL is that it failed twice, and the second time was actually shorter than the first time. But I think this was actually a league that had a chance to sustain and a chance to actually make it. I think the production value was good. I think the players were good enough to kind of wet the palate of fans whenever there was an NFL football. I think the money behind it was good, and I think the narrative will be that it failed because that's what Vince McMahon's XFL does, when I think the narrative should be like, I think it was off to a good start. It just got a hell of an elbow drop from a worldwide pandemic named COVID-19.
Well, yeah, how would you expect Vince McMahon to pay all of that? How many games did they get in? 4?
5, 6. 5 or
so
6.
It's a startup league. You're trying to rebuild what you had in 2000, whatever it was. How in the world would you ever expect them to make it through this time and then say, all right, well, they're not going to have a season. We're going to play 5 games. Still going to pay everybody all this money, but we don't have the money coming in. I figured I'm surprised they didn't file bankruptcy earlier than they did.
Yeah, but I just think because Vince McMahon is at the head of it. You got to remember, Vince McMahon has created his own persona, his own the thought of Vince McMahon is his WWE heel character. It's just, I'm richer than you, I'm smarter than you, you're small, I'm big, you're dumb, I'm smart. That's Vince McMahon, right? I mean, that's the Vince McMahon WWE personality. I've never met him long enough off of television to tell you exactly what he's like off the air, but on air to the millions and millions of people that watch WWE, that is the persona. So whenever one of his companies files bankruptcy, everybody's like, well, you're supposed to be this big, smart, rich guy. How is your company filing?
Yeah, I'm a big, smart, rich guy because I don't just keep dumping money into a league that isn't going to finish the season.
Bingo. I completely agree. But that's how the narrative gets spun, though, whenever they see this guy who has forever told us that he's rich, forever told us that he's smarter than you. Whenever one of his companies go under, then he files for bankruptcy and doesn't have to pay people, then everybody and their mom's like, well, you're not that big and not that rich anyways. Whenever, in my eyes, I think what Vince McMahon did by allocating the responsibilities of the league to Oliver Luck, basically, having Oliver Luck take it over, I think it was very smart. And I thought the XFL was going to succeed. But just like the layoffs at the WWE and the people that are getting furloughed at the WWE, whenever the head person of the company is Vince McMahon and his entire heel persona on television for so long has been, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, and then these moves directly go against that, that's whenever the narrative gets spun in a negative light towards the XFL and towards anything Vince McMahon does. Not saying it's right, but I'm just saying that's how, if you listen to the internet and read the internet's reaction to these things, that's exactly how they're taking it.
Well, let's say it's 10 years from now, though, and there's people that don't really – the coronavirus situation is in the past, and there's a lot of people that maybe didn't come up with it and don't know a whole lot about it. I would think for Vince McMahon, you could say, well, hey, like we were off to a good start. We had TV deals. We had all this stuff going, and then worldwide pandemic came. Like, what do you expect? That's why it didn't succeed. Like, I think he could lean back on that if he ever was worried.
Yeah, but you got to remember the first XFL failed. Nobody knew that it wasn't supposed to be for TV. It was supposed to be just a live event thing. And then it became a television thing because Emersal lost the NFL or something on NBC. So like a month or two before the season was supposed to kick off, he goes to Vince McMahon. He says, well, we need this on television. Then all of a sudden this thing that was supposed to be just a live event in-person show with the cheerleaders and the fireworks and the Vince McMahon cutting promos and The Rock cutting promos and all this stuff, all of a sudden gets thrusted into primetime television because NBC needs something, and everybody's like, I don't want this, ratings collapse, XFL is done for, when it wasn't supposed to be a television thing to begin with. It was supposed to be just a live event thing. Now this time, they're off and running, they think they have success, and then whammy, a worldwide pandemic. I wonder if Vince McMahon just goes, fuck it, it's supposed to fail. And then just kind of moves on with it because it's a worldwide pandemic and then a situation that cost NBC or CBS, one of the whoever episode was with, I think it's NBC, one of those two things took it down. I think Vince McMahon probably feels like we could have done it if we had to. We could have continued to do this if we had to. That is success because a lot of people said that's one of his only major business fails was the first XFL, and I assume he wanted to get that rectified.
Yeah, I guess you would think at this point, like, who cares if you're Vince McMahon? But that's what makes Vince. So he built the WWE because he's not scared to go out on a limb and take chances. That's why a lot of these guys are billionaires. They took chances at some point in their lives, in their careers. So I just think I don't know. Like it's 100%. Like if it wasn't for the coronavirus, obviously the XFL would have finished this season out. I don't know if it was sustainable past this year. Maybe they could have done it. I just don't know how long people would continue to tune in, but.
They're getting millions of people watching, which is good. I think it would have been sustainable. I don't think it would have maintained that million, but if you get 500, 600,000 viewers, you can still sell that to companies. You can
got a lot. We talk about it. There's shows all the time that love to pub their ratings and they get 250K.
Exactly. They're still be able to sell it, still able to sell merch and things like that. I think the XFL would have succeeded. I think Oliver Luck did well with that whole thing. It just got hit by a pandemic. Speaking of things that might not succeed, let's talk about the NFL draft again. Diana Rossini just tweeted, I'm texting with multiple coaches and GMs who are on this mock draft call, and everybody is saying the same thing, which is bandwidth is a problem. There are many communication issues. It is Monday, 4/20. This draft is in 3 days from now. This isn't something where you can just pump in more bandwidth into 32 general managers' houses. This is something that is going to be an issue for them on Thursday, maybe even more so with the amount of activity that'll be on the internet at prime time draft time as opposed to 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock on a Monday, 4/20. This has all the makings to be a clusterfuck, and I can't wait for it. This is going to be awesome. The NFL will deal with it. The draft picks will get chosen, but there is going to be must-see television on Thursday, and I'm so thankful we're doing a primetime draft super special alongside of it.
Oh, I'm very excited. I think this all adds to the buildup of what our show is going to be like Thursday night, what the NFL draft will be like. But also, I think they may be throwing us off the scent a little bit here. I've mentioned before, Pat, it's all about managing expectations. If they know, I mean, I don't want to give Roger Goodell this much credit.
Well, you are right now.
Maybe indirectly, they may be saying, with all of this mock draft going so poorly, they know it's going to leak out. Everything leaks. They're driving down people's expectations. So we're all going to tune in to see, this is going to be a disaster. It's going to be a nightmare. I can't wait to see it. So then all of a sudden it goes off, and there may be a few glitches here and there, but it gets done. Everyone's like, oh, man, I'm kind of disappointed. And there was no just colossal fails or anything. Everyone seemed to be okay, and everyone got drafted.
That's so smart. That's so smart.
Thank you.
No, well, Roger Goodell's doing it, not you, but you are pointing out.
Roger, I don't think he is doing that on purpose. I think maybe this could be a byproduct of the disaster that is the mock draft on Monday before the Thursday draft. Bandwidth. Okay, so bandwidth for the TV viewing audience, for what they're going to put on screen, I guess that's bandwidth matters. But as far as communication between the teams and the coaches, they can do that on those 3 landlines John Lynch had. They don't need bandwidth.
So the 3 landlines, I believe, one is going directly to commish, I would assume. The other one is directly dialed into the other 31 GMs, and then that third one, I have no idea where that's going.
Well, because one of the tweets from her was about the GMs and how they're all on one line, and it's hard to hear because everyone's trying to talk and blah, blah. Why do you need to be on a conference call with all 32 other GMs? Like, why do you have to talk to all 32, or all 32 GMs need to be on a conference call?
I think it's just because last case scenario, if you have to get a hold of somebody, you hit in it, right? Like,
redundancy. Like, they want to have multiple backups for their backup.
Yeah, like if you want to trade. Like, I think you have to say to somebody like, hey, Belichick, meet me in a Zoom or whatever. You know what I mean? And then you're out of there, and then you're straight into the Zoom. Yeah. Because oh, my God, because imagine if you're the Dolphins and you hear somebody reach out to Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia or whatever, and you're the Dolphins sitting at 5, and you're like, oh, I would like in that fucking Zoom. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting about who's muting what. That's going to be the big thing. If somebody leaves something unmuted and information comes out. But I guess there's supposed to be a couple Zooms or Microsoft Teams where the scouts will be for the GM, where the coaches will be for the GM, and then there's a direct line to the other GMs, then one direct line to commish. That's a lot of internet, by the way, for one house. I mean, look at us right now. We have like 1,000 up, 1,000 down, or something like that, our internet? No.
Yeah, but with the firewall we have, it's only letting us use 250 of it.
Whatever the case is, 250 up, 250 down. We're supposed to have 1,000. We're paying for 1,000. We only get 250. We should fix that.
Yep, I've tried.
That seems like we're getting hustled. But anyways, 250 up, 250 down. That is good internet. We have good internet, right? And even ours goes sometimes. And we have a wire. What is it? Not
Hardwire, yeah.
copper? No.
Fiber.
We have fiber wire that goes right into this office, right into a computer. And even sometimes ours goes. Now you're talking about these GMs who what? Their grandkids use Wi-Fi every once in a while. They're getting little boosters in there. They might be up near what, 100? If they're
the Xbox.
if they're at
If
100,
that, a lot of them don't even have 100
that's what I'm
download speed of it.
Well, I would assume that they're trying their best to boost it, but there's not enough time for them to get enough quality. It's going to be a show. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is like literally what I used to do for a living, supporting doctors with telehealth. And a lot of times they'd want to do it from their house so they could see patients from their house. And we would always recommend against it because like when they're in the office, it's a controlled environment, right? The corporate IT people put the equipment in the office. We know what it is. We know how it works. But when you go home, there's so many different variables. Like you said, kids could be playing on iPads, people streaming things, and your little rinky-dink like Linksys router that can only handle so much.
And what if you got a neighbor's going pound town on himself and all of a sudden stealing from your Wi-Fi? You got no idea. Can't even draft Isaiah Timmons because old neighbor next door is going to town on himself.
You know, like what I have, where I'm at here, I'm like an attic in my house, and I do serious shows from here. So I have like this Comrex unit. I got a separate like business modem just for this room, separate from my whole house, because when I first started doing shows there, if my kids would turn on Apple TV or YouTube and be streaming it, sometimes my connection through Sirius would glitch and be slow. So that's just one thing. I'm not trying to communicate with 13 different Zoom calls and who knows what your kids are doing in other rooms. Like it's just, I'm sure they're trying all they can, but man, they didn't. I don't know. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. Just like this show is.
What happened with the Bengals though? Did Schefter say like if there's a problem with the first? How big of a problem was it?
Well, I wonder if the other teams were like, yeah, it's the Bengals though. You know what I mean? Like I wonder if there was like we would like to take. And everybody's like, that's the Bengals. Can we get the Bengals pre-recorded maybe?
Just text it. Text your pick in.
Yeah.
Might happen.
Fax it.
You know there's Zoom room. You know, so you use Zoom with your teammates. I know you haven't used it much. On Zoom, there's like a chat section, so you could type messages to the whole group, to everyone, or you can pick individuals privately. And when I've been on Zoom, I always like to send private messages to certain people I know. Really? And then every time after I send them, I'm like, oh no, was that public? Was that everybody? Oh man. And you got to be worried about that. That could happen too. Like, hey, Belichick, call me on the other line. Like if you think it's a private message, and then other teams are like, oh, they're trying to get in that spot. Oh, we got to jump up. So hopefully they throw people off the scent like that.
I already see the video being made by the internet of the Zoom chat of mistakes coming in, Bill Belichick to Bill O'Brien. Hey, meet me on my face or something like that. You know, he'll do the entire. I already see it happening. The internet always does it.
Belichick, I bet, won't even take part in the Zooms. I bet he is all landline the whole time.
No, everybody's saying they're moving.
What do you mean?
Everybody's thinking that the Patriots are potentially moving. That they're gonna. I don't know why. I don't know why there was a buzz about the Patriots this year, but there's a buzz amongst people who probably have no idea. But the Patriots are gonna try to make a move.
I wonder what they want. What do they want to get?
Ball tosser.
A lefty one from Alabama.
They're gonna get all the way up.
Well,
how far do they have to get?
Especially if the Niners are looking to trade out.
You might have to go to 3.
Everybody's saying Air Bear's going to go there.
Man, I would be surprised if Herbert went there.
To Detroit or to Miami at 3?
Either team at 3, I would be surprised.
You think Miami trade? See, now this is what you and I are going to have to figure out. You think Miami's going to trade all 3 of their picks or only 2 of their first-round picks to move up?
I mean, as least as possible to get up.
What if they trade all 3 to get up to 1, by the way?
Ooh, now that would be a great twist.
And by the way, I would like 30 points if I project that onto my draft and it happens. I would like.
Man, people will burn the city of Cincinnati down if it happens.
Yeah, but they get 3 first-round picks out of that. I mean, that is, and Andy Dalton slinging the rock in the backyard. He's 30 years old. You get 3, and by the way, I mocked Cincinnati hard. I said if they end up trading out of this number 1 pick with the obvious face of their franchise, an Ohio kid who just did everything right for the next 10, 15 years, this guy could be the Bengals quarterback. He understands the grit and everything like that. If they mess that up, only the Bengals could do it. They're idiots. And then you start thinking about it, and they're like, okay, they got Andy Dalton. If you can get 3 first-round draft picks this year, you can do a lot of damage. Now, granted, it's 5, 13, and 26 or something, or 5, 15, and 26, whatever the Dolphins is. That is still something you can really build your team around when you already got Ross, you got A.J. Green, you got Joe Mixon, you got a defense. That could be a move that Cincinnati Bengals, who never trade anything, would potentially look at it and go, fuck it, I didn't really like the kid much anyways, and do the trade anyways. It
depends how like in love they are with Joe Burrow. If they feel like, all right, we're going to give up on Joe Burrow, but we're going to get 3 first-rounders. If they have the 5th pick and the 13th or whatever, they could easily take one of the other quarterbacks that they may be almost equally as high on.
I guess they said Joe Burrow's a clear number 1. That's what the Miami Herald report. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it.
There'll be more to unfold as the week goes on. Tomorrow we'll have a guest. I can't wait for them to join us.
Who is it?
I'm not sure. I have no idea. But I just assumed we could potentially maybe get one, so I always just like to leave it out there. You know what I mean?
I'm sure we can.
Well, I went after YouTube whenever they shut us down last week and told them that Roger Goodell was coming on the show. So, he potentially, maybe. I don't know. Potentially,
so
maybe.
Does YouTube give any, like, is there any kind of consolation prize or something for them just chopping the channel?
Yes, they have given us stream protection, basically. So if one little fuckboy from the NASCAR community wants to come over here and come after us, the YouTube says, nah. See you
if
later.
one person can get a channel shut down, though, then there's something wrong with
what if
how
it's
YouTube
20
works.
people, though? What if it's 20 people, though?
What if it is?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What if Kyle Larson and his 15 friends who don't think he's racist somehow, after I come in and say everything, come in here and just report? I think the YouTube algorithm theory goes like, okay, there must be something up. There's 15, 20 people saying something. They must have done something. Bang, strike, see you later. I'm not saying Kyle Larson and his friends did that. I mean, he does say the N-word very, very easily, so I wouldn't put it past the scumbag, but I'm just saying that that's the type of thing that would get us struck. And now that I just said that again, NASCAR people are probably coming in and trying to come after us again, but you can't, bitch, because YouTube gave us stream protection.
Firewall.
Yeah.
It's good to know. I didn't know they did that, stream protection. I didn't know that was a service that YouTube would offer.
By the way, it might be fake too, and might just said that to make us feel good. I'm not 100% sure. We might get taken down
There's
by
a very good chance of that.
Well, all right.
You can still get taken down. I guess what they mean is they won't. Maybe they'll just look into it. If they get reports on our channel before just chopping the whole channel down, they'll look into it and say, all right, let's make sure before we do something.
Yeah, by the way, I don't want people to automatically assume it was Kyle Larson and his friends.
No.
But
it was just eerily.
Look at the evidence.
But it's not like
bombarded
Are you
with
telling me,
tweets.
Pat, you're the only person that's criticized Kyle Larson and what he did?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not sure. I don't watch other people's stuff.
I think it's pretty unanimous. People understand how wrong he was.
I don't think it is, by the way.
How casual he was the scariest part.
By the way, I got a lot of tweets. From
people. Your comparison to Kyle Larson using the N-word and finishing the race is like equivalent to Kobe Bryant tearing his Achilles and making his free throws afterwards. Like, it really does. It's perfect. It really adds up.
I don't know how he did. Like, that word came out, and he didn't even. There wasn't even like oh no. It was just like I'm surprised he didn't almost double down. Like, that's how easy that thing came out of his mouth.
That's what made it scary.
If we don't make a big deal out of it, no one else.
Yeah, nobody heard it. Nobody
finished the race.
Everybody knows Kyle. I mean, it's just Kyle.
Dude.
Kyle being Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle. Hey, by the way, Kyle, everybody can hear you. Yikes!
All right, gotta go.
All right. Speaking of gotta go, this show's over. It's stupid.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Play good, pay good, live good, die good.